Here we go. Oh, looky here. All right, admitting all. Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My favorite day of the week. Like, it's not even called Tuesday anymore. This is just Tech Tuesday every Tuesday, right? All right, well, today is super exciting because, as you know, I love video, right? But I also have an amazing visual media partner that tells me, like, if I'm doing it right and if I'm doing it, so it definitely helps to have someone in your corner that will make you better, right? So he does all my photos, my videos, all my blooper reels. Yep, that's him, because I have more bloopers than I do good content. So, which is good. I actually get more feedback on that. And then all my property websites, everything, Zillow 3D tours, like you name it, he does it. So he knows a couple things. So I figured I would bring him on the call because he's the pro, and we leave it to the pros, right, to give us the best tips and tricks on, like when you're going into, like maybe a blue heron home and you want to do a little home tour, right? But your video that you just made is 3 minutes long, it's going to be kind of hard to chop up, number one. So there's a couple things as far as, just being one of those agents that do this and being one of the agents he's going to talk about. So Aeon, it is all yours. Share your wisdom.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me, Wendy. All of you beautiful EXP people. Can you guys hear me okay?
We have more than EXP here. This is open to all brokerages.
I stand corrected. Yeah. Good morning to all you real estate agents. All right.
Yep.
All right. So you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to share my screen and desktop one. And we're going to start. This is going to be like free form, maybe 15 minutes worth of monologue, and then we can get into a Q&A dialogue kind of thing. But basically, I want to share with you the do's and don'ts of selfie video. You guys see that all right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, here we go. The beautiful thing about living in the 21st century is that this tool is an amazing device. And to create selfie video, that's pretty much all you need is your phone. Pretty much. There's a caveat there. It is a fantastic and amazing tool that needs just a little bit of finesse to use correctly. All right, so we're going to go over some best practices. The first one is photography and video is all about light. Like the word photography literally means like painting with light from ancient Latin. So one of the best light sources that we have in the world is the sun. All right, now I show you this picture of this room because one of the most ideal sources of light you can use is window light. So I have a window here, if you can see me. Light's coming here. It's brighter here than it is here on this side, right? So what people mistake, unfortunately, is that they're like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing view. I want to do a selfie video and put this view behind me so people can see me in this space. The problem with that is this window is the light source. So when you point the camera at the light source, the camera gets overwhelmed with light and you get kind of like what we call blown out. Okay, you see this middle image here where the light source behind the subject? That's what it would look like if you were standing there with the window behind you. If you turned around, it would look more like that image on the right with the window in front of you. You want the window, you want the light source shining on the subject. And in selfie video, you are the subject. So make sure that you're not trying to get the view in, make sure that you're lit correctly, all right? So we have 3 examples. Sunlight on your subject on the far left side. You see how there's hard shadows? Like on the photographer's right side of her face, you see the shadow of her nose on her cheek. Hard shadows, right? This is less than ideal because while the human eye can look beyond and see through shadows, the camera cannot. Shadows to a camera video or photography, it's a very heavy two-dimensional object. So you want to mitigate shadows as much as possible, hard shadows. All right. Now, we talked about the middle one, you know, see everything behind her where it's just pure white. We call that blown out. You want to try and avoid that because there's no detail there, okay? And there's just too much contrast for it to look right. What you want to do is you want to seek ideally window light. And if you're not near a window, if you're outside or something, go for open shade. All right. Open shade is what you see here on the right hand side. See how the background and the subject are all lit and exposed about the same. She doesn't have any hard shadows. Everything in the back is in proper exposure. Everything, the subject is in proper exposure. This is what you want to seek out. All right. So basically, step away from the sun, step into the shade. And what's like, if you're if you're outside of a building and there's an awning, step into the awning, right? And what's nice about this is now you are exposed evenly because the shade, and then out there where the sky is your light source. So all that light is coming onto you, but it's hitting everything around that object that's shading you. So you have all this reflected and refracted and bounced light onto you, and you get exposures like this right-hand image, which is very, 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 very pleasing. Always kind of go for this. Window light and open shade. Two key takeaways for proper exposure. And exposure is second most important thing. We'll get into the first in a minute. Here's a couple of examples of window light. You see how windy on the left-hand side? Look at her right side and her left side. See how her right cheek, which is on our left side, is a little bit brighter than the left. That's because the window is not being lit by the sun. All right. The sun was actually on the other side of the building, but it's being bounced off of the other building across the way. She's lit very, very evenly, right? And just the color's a little bit different in both of these because I was playing around with exposure, but see how there's not a lot of shadows on her, hard shadows on her features. You want to go for this. Window light is fantastic because it's beautiful, open and even. An open shade is very, very pleasing and aesthetic and doesn't create hard shadows. So think about this when you start to film yourself. All right, now I talked to you, said exposure is the number 2 thing. The number 1 thing that will kill your video is bad audio. Bad audio will kill good video, lickety split. And here's the proof behind what I'm saying. You can watch a bad video that has good audio and you'll still understand the message. So you'll sit through it because if it's important or if it's relevant, you'll pay attention to what the person is saying and get through the garbage video. The opposite is not true. I have seen high producing agents like set their phone on a tripod in front of a piece of dirt that's like $1.5 million, $2 million here in Las Vegas, and the wind is raking across the microphone and they're talking into it from like 10 feet away. You can't hear them. So all they are is they're just talking with no audio and all you hear is wind. And then like, capturing it is one thing, but posting it, like, I don't even know why they would post it, but the way to overcome this, and this is seriously a very, very top recommendation, is mic up. Get a professional microphone, all right? So this is what I use. When we film Wendy, we mic her up with these DJI Mic 2s. I really like this. They come in this charging case. There's 2 transmitters and a receiver. It's a very, very good tool. It's almost plug and play. Keep it super simple. It's almost dummy proof. There is one drawback, and that is it is $349. Now, we have a saying in photography. It probably is a real saying in real estate too, I would imagine. And that is buy once, cry once. Okay, $349, I admit, is a fair amount to choke down, but that microphone comes with a USB-C, comes with micro USB, comes with Thunderbolt. So you can plug it into your phone and get that professional audio pretty much just by taking it out of the box and using it. It's really, really phenomenal. Buy once, cry once. You just buy it one time, and then you never have to cry a second time because you bought garbage and have to rebuy something else. There are cheaper versions out there that probably work almost as good. There's a ton of sound test comparisons out there. This is, here we go. Oh, can't go back. That's what I use. That's what I recommend. All right, moving on. All right, some of the best tools that you can use for editing your video, and we're not going to get into how to edit video. That's a much bigger conversation, but a couple of the things you might want to consider using if you're not already. CapCut is a fantastic free mobile and desktop video editor that's actually very user-friendly. You can do like 30 minutes YouTube University to learn how to use this, but there is something to be said about using the in-suite video editors on Instagram and TikTok. There's been reports that I've read that says Instagram, TikTok will reward the poster for using those in-suite editing tools by giving more views. So not saying anything you ever do is going to be viral, but if you edit within the social media platforms themselves, you might have a better chance. All right, next thing. This is very important. Get organized. All right. Short form video is the new standard on social media for real estate. Like having a video that works right on the cell phone, it's just the thing you have to do. Like 98% of business comes through mobile, and social media is a huge component of that. So one of the best things you can do is get organized. It's all about concept and planning. All right. So really, besides the equipment, you really only need to get good, in my opinion, at one thing. Get good at data input. Right. So I'm a big list maker. If you have an idea, like a lot of times when I'm driving, I drive without any music or podcast or audiobook on, and I'll just drive in silence and I'll get ideas. And I can't really do anything with the idea while I'm driving. So I will open up either like my notes app, or I use the one I use is called Tasks by Google. I like it because you can check it off and it disappears. Just get good at putting those ideas into that app. So when I'm driving and I have an idea, I hit a red light, I open up a new task, I voice record my idea, and then it just sits in that database until I can come back to it another time. And I usually get about 30 ideas, and then I batch create all those ideas and get them off the list. And that's the next point. Batch record. Every time you get a good idea, you're going to record, edit, post. It's going to take a lot of time. You can batch record and then outsource, or batch record and then have an editing session later. But get all these ideas onto your video in one session. It's much, much quicker. You can set up your phone in front of a window, put it in a shoe. If you don't have a tripod, put it on a tripod, use your ring light, whatever you have, and just go through your ideas. Idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, idea 4, organize it, and then get it into your editing stream. All right, get it all done. And then you can, if you're posting one video a week, if you do 4 videos in a 15-minute session, you have a whole month that you just did in 15 minutes. So, but it starts here, getting good at data input, not forgetting your ideas. And then if you are batch recording, something you might want to think about is make it a fashion show, so you're not wearing the same outfit every single time. Okay, the thing about short form video, this is the kind of beautiful thing about it, is it's short, right? Ideas for videos, they don't have to be complicated or long. I mean, they could be literally like 7 to 11 seconds. I've seen 11-second reels on Instagram trend and get tens of thousands of views. Really can be remarkable. And it's social media. I've heard that people don't have the attention span to give this more than 60 seconds. So I've been experimenting with another client and doing 40-second reels, and they're actually doing better. People don't want to invest an entire minute, but they will invest 40 seconds. Weird. But that's the beautiful thing about it. It's short. Your time commitment is low. Their attention span is low. So make an impact, be done, move on to the next thing. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is another piece of equipment. And this one is a little bit more expensive. This is an Osmo Pocket 3. The thing about using a dedicated camera instead of your phone is that when you have this separate tool, it puts you in a different mindset, right? Like your phone can do everything, but this tool is not designed to do everything. And it comes with a professional mic. The drawback with this right now is it's not being delivered until late September because they're just sold out because it's such a good tool. The nice thing about this is it records horizontally as well as vertically. You see that little horizontal screen? When you flip that to be in line with the stick, the camera rotates as well. So you can do two types of video with this. The other good thing is it has a bigger sensor than your iPhone or your Google phone or whatever. It has a bigger sensor. Now what that means, a bigger sensor means that you have bigger pixels. The bigger the pixels, that means you have better light gathering ability, which means in low light situations like dark houses, you have less noise. Noise can be a distractor that you don't necessarily want. So, but more importantly, like I said, this is a dedicated tool and it's about double what the microphones cost, but because it's dedicated, you might change your mindset as well. I just have my phone. Okay, well now I have a camera. Cameras are made for content creation. Phones are made for doing everything. While the phone is good, this is a little bit more elevated. All right. So consider this as a potential tool in your bag. It's very, very small. Like literally that whole thing will fit in your hand. It's really a tiny thing. So definitely think about that. All right. We're going to get into a couple of don'ts and then we're going to go over some Q&As if that's all right. All right. So buying a dedicated tool is kind of my last do. All right. Don't pan. This is the number one don't. This is the number one thing I see people doing, realtors doing that I absolutely hate. And I understand why people do it, right? So you go into a room, you're touring a house, you want to show off your new listing for your open house. So you get your phone out and you just do this. Don't do this. It makes people sick because it's just that image going by on the screen. You'll be much, much better served if you do pushes and slides. And the thing to do when you're doing this is get up close to a wall. Like if my mug here, I can use my iPad. If this is a wall, you can take your phone and move it past the wall. And what that does is it creates this moving effect in front of the camera that draws viewers in. It's very, very cinematic. And slides are the same. All right. Just you can walk through the house. Pushes and slides are really, really good. Stop panning. Panning is super amateurish looking. Like you want to elevate your video a lot by just doing a little thing. Just stop doing this and work on slides and pushes and even pulls. Pull is just the opposite of a push. Like you start over the sink and you pull back and you show the whole island and kitchen, something like that. Much, much better than doing pans. Stop panning. Really, really bad. It makes it look really, really poor. Number two, don't. Is the 80-20 rule. On your social media, don't always talk about real estate. Unfortunately, nobody really cares. People who care about real estate are people who are in the industry like you and affiliates like me. For the most part, people care about real estate when they're in a transaction or they need to get into a transaction. After that, they're moving on with their life. Where am I going to go skiing this weekend? Where are we going to go to the lake this weekend? Who are we inviting over for a barbecue? This is what people think about. So the 80-20 rule you've all heard of, right? 80% of your profits from 20% of your clients, but also 80% of your effort should be in adding value to your SOI, right? Talk about the new barbecue place. Like I just did a short form video with a client of mine for the only public cold plunge location in Las Vegas right now. So she was sharing that with her audience. She's providing value because cold plunge is a new rage. So we went and did a video of it. She's saying, hey, this exists now, so you should come check it out. So I call this like letting your freak flag fly. Add as much value to your audience as you possibly can. So I don't think that you need to share everything about your life, but choose a few components that you do. Like Wendy's really into Jeeping, right? And she shares those Jeep and motorcycle adventures, right? and that's where the value is, right? I use another client. She's a single lady with a French bulldog. She likes taking on walks in parks. If that's your jam, share that and own that little demographic, because there's going to be someone out there on social media who's like, I am a single lady with a French bulldog and I want to know where to take them on walks in Las Vegas. Like, you're going to find your niche. But talk to those people, add as much value as you can. Like, these are the top 10 dog parks in Las Vegas if you have small dogs. Like in Vegas, we haven't segregated big dogs and small dogs. So, and some have shaded trees and some are gravel. So this is a type of value that you can provide your audience, just whatever your thing is, like here's how to make the best old fashioned. Here's the 5 best old fashioned places in my town. Whatever it is, own that thing and be that provider for that value. And then 20% of the time, 1 post out of 5, remind them, oh yeah, by the way, if you need to do a real estate transaction, I'm here. You have to continually remind people, just don't bombard people. Super, super key. Be yourself, be authentic, be raw, and give as much value to your audience as you can. Okay. Number 3. What are these out of? Done is greater than perfect, right? Oops. Number 3, don't. These are backwards. Sorry. Time is money, right? Perfection is not real. And I've heard it said that perfect is the enemy of good. So when you're doing your videos, don't waste a whole bunch of time getting the editing exactly perfect, because it's short form. People with short attention spans, you're going to get it done, get it out there. People are going to consume it. They're going to move on and forget about it. 3 to 5 seconds, it's done. They're on to the next post. Get it done. It's more important to get it out there than it is to get it perfect. Perfect doesn't exist anyway. Get it done. Super, super important. All right. The last thing is outsource. Okay. You can find a video editor on Fiverr. Take some of the tips I've given you, like pushes and slides, pulls. Take all that content, give it to an editor on Fiverr you can find in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or India or somewhere, maybe the Philippines or Vietnam. These are all places that do this. We have editors in both India and Vietnam, and we're a professional media company. Outsource. You guys are entrepreneurs just like me. You are a business, right? And the number 1 rule of entrepreneurialism is to never do yourself that which you can hire someone else to do better, cheaper, and faster, right? If you would rather spend 90 minutes watching a show and having dinner with your family than editing 5 or 6 videos, spend the money to edit 5 or 6 videos. You can find people to do it for $15 to $25 a video. Really, and it'll be, they're professional editors. You don't need to be a professional editor, professional content creator, professional realtor, professional mom. Just, give the people the content so they can stay in their lane and create something for you. But outsourcing is the best way to get a more professional look and to save your time. Time is your most valuable resource. You cannot generate more of it. And this brings us to our Q&A section. That's the end of the show. So let me stop sharing the screen. How did I stop? Wait. Yep, I stopped, right?
Okay. Yeah, I got it. So real quick though, another thing when you're doing video is don't say, hi, I'm Wendy with EXP. Like, nobody cares. You talk about what you're going to talk about. Like, you hook them. You got to hook them. That's super important because the people that care about what you're going to talk about are going to stay and watch. You know what I mean? People that don't are going to leave, which is fine. We only want to talk to the people that don't want to learn about what you're talking about. So, but don't start it off with, hi, I'm Wendy with EXP. Nobody cares who you are or where you are. It's just like what you're going to talk about.
That's true. So, and I would leverage ChatGPT, create a fast hook for this type of property and this type of market for whoever the audience, and ChatGPT will spit something out that's really pretty amazing, pretty fast. And you can just tweak that a little bit and make it yours. Adrian, you have a question?
Yes, I do. Following up a little bit with Wendy said, when you're like, I use CapCut or InShot, and I'll just put my name at the bottom. I don't have to say my name. Don't know who I am. So it's part of the, what they can read. My question to you is, what contraption do you suggest is the best to put in your car? Because sometimes I'm charging my car and I'm thinking of something and I do a quick video. So what do you suggest as a good contraption?
Yeah, your phone, I mean, you already have it. That's the beautiful
No,
thing
no,
about
but
using.
something to hold it. My problem,
Oh,
yeah, something to
yeah,
like
I
have.
thought I have like a I don't have an electric car, and I found that it shakes too much for me, but I found that suction cup cell phone holders.
Okay, perfect.
You just put it on your window, find the right angle.
Or you can
Okay.
get a Jeep. We have a really cool accessory for Jeep.
Well, take that in mind.
Problem solver right here. Oh,
Okay.
funny. Herb, you got a question?
Yes, I was wondering about what do you think makes certain videos go viral? What are the components of that?
It's a good question, actually. Not knowing what the algorithm is, it's sometimes you don't know. I have seen examples that the platforms will reward consistency. So I had a client who's producing like talking head videos with just a pink paper background because her branding is like hot pink, and she was getting frustrated because she was only getting like 200 350 views per video on TikTok with like 6 or 8,000 followers. And then after I think 3 weeks of posting 5 days a week, TikTok rewarded her and pushed whatever video it was just to a lot of people because it was, and we think it was the consistency, just her doing it day after day after day after day for 3 weeks. And TikTok's like, all right, let's give a little bit more, and she got this huge boost, and it was like a post that got over 10,000 views, and it was not really anything exceptional over what else she was doing. So I think a lot of it is the consistency. We all want something that's viral because it's kind of that endorphin rush. Like I think my best video on Instagram is 250,000. Okay, this is a more direct answer to your question, actually. So I would say consistency may be rewarded. Saying controversial shit will get you engagement. That will make you go viral. So
Uh-huh.
my example is I was showing something I was doing. There was a driveway of this luxury home that had all these solar powered puck lights on the sides of the driveway, right? We were shooting at twilight. Now, the biggest problem with these puck lights is the sensor in them does not trigger the light to come on until it's darker than we prefer to photograph at. So I had my nephew 3D print up a whole bunch of like plastic discs. This is a metal coaster, but it was like a plastic disc like this to put on top of the solar panel on these lights, so that the lights would emit the light on the driveway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got on there, little selfie videos, like, hey, check this out. I think I'm pretty smart. This is what I'm doing. I'm putting these on these to get the lights to come on. And I forgot to tell people that it was because of the reason I just explained, the timing of it all. And I need to take photos before it gets too dark. And because I forgot, people are like, they're designed to do that on their own. You're an idiot. Like, put them all on 12 volt. Everyone, because I made a little mistake. People thought I was a total moron. People will absolutely chirp in and engage with you by doing something controversial or dumb. So that's,
Right.
I was like 260,000 views on that because I forgot to mention I'm doing it for this specific reason. I just was like, I'm doing this for this, not because of this, So saying controversial stuff can definitely get you views. It might gain you followers, it might lose you followers, but if you're if you believe in what you're saying, as controversial as it is, then stick with your guns, man. Like, be controversial. There's a guy here in town. He is really, really good at his brand. Definitely controversial for about half the population. He's a super big time MAGA Trumper, and he mocks and makes fun of Democrats all the time. And in my opinion, from a business perspective, you don't go political, right? But he's chosen his battles. He's drawn his line in the sand, and he has a conservative Republican clientele, and he just doesn't want to work with the left. So he he will make jokes, and it's stuff that will offend and piss off people from the other spectrum, but he's diving down into his niche, and he gets a lot of engagement and a lot of views, and a lot of people call him out for being an idiot, but he sticks with it because that's his brand. Now, I'm not saying go political. I don't think it's the way to go.
Do not do that.
I'm going to stay away from the political part, but yeah, I mean, definitely, I think, I look at the videos that pop up in the feed that aren't like people that I'm following, and it's usually, I don't know, for me, it's different because like one thing that you should do that I recommend is like get on somebody else's iPhone and scroll on their social media and see what else comes up, because it's going to be a completely different feed, especially all those, videos that get injected. And so, like scrolling through my wife with her, it's like she gets way different kind of things that pop up on hers, and some real estate related ones that I thought were very, very like things that I wouldn't see.
So Herb, you bring up two really good points. Like you just mentioned that videos will pop up in your feed by people you don't follow. This underlines the absolute importance of creating reels and posting reels. And reels are less than 90 seconds. Like I said, right now, they're kind of a sweet spot around 40 seconds. But you should be creating reels, I would say 2 to 3 times a week at a minimum, because reels will get shown to people who do not follow you. So you have an opportunity, if somebody likes what you're saying in your reel, if the hook is right there and then they watch more than that 3 seconds, they might follow you. Oh, this guy has something interesting to say or controversial to say. I need to chirp in, whatever. This is for everybody, not just you, Herb. Like, create reels because they get shown to people who you now have an opportunity to have a conversation with. The other thing that you mentioned was you get on your wife's phone to see what's coming up. This is why stories are so important. All right. So stories are above the feed. I have clients who pop up in stories all the time. I open up my phone and boom, there they are. So in Las Vegas, we have 18,000 realtors. If you ask anybody who's not affiliated with the industry, like we have a lot of people working in casinos, right? You ask some craps dealer, hey, do you know a realtor? They probably know 10, but they're not going to be able to say, oh yeah, unless they're married to one or they've got one in the immediate family or they just came out of a real estate transaction. They are not going to be able to say, oh yes, I do know a realtor. It's so-and-so. They're not going to remember because it's just not that important. However, if someone asks them, hey, I really need, a resource, do you know somebody? Well, yeah, let me check my phone. They open Instagram. If you're in the story, you're in the top. Oh yeah, so-and-so, they're a realtor. And this is why you need to remind people 20% of the time that you're in real estate. But stories are super important, so you're always present and visible.
It's something interesting about that. You talk about other people's feed and stuff. Is I'll talk to clients and I'll say, hey, I'm working on improving my Instagram feed and all that, and I'll say, hey, are there any cool real estate agents that pop up on your feed, and can you forward me some of their cool stuff that you like?
It's a great idea.
There you go. All right. Herb's now muted. So Nancy, you have a question?
I do. Can you explain again the difference between pan and slide?
Sure. Panning is like my office chair. You go into a room and you don't move your feet. You just spin. Sliding is a left to right motion. Right? Panning is like pivoting. Don't pivot.
Right. And he does a lot of like moving forward, so like I feel like the more movement you have, right, going forward or wrapping around your corners, like it just makes it more engaging than just
like,
I mean, you could do a photo video like that. You don't even need a freaking video camera for that.
It's true.
They make
it definitely moving and like moving past something like a wall. Like if you have a kitchen over there, but the wall's here, you start the camera back here and you move the camera past the wall moves out of the way to reveal the kitchen. Little cinematic tricks like that make a big impact.
Are you moving your feet when you're sliding, or are you staying in one place, going side to side?
I don't really move my feet. I don't usually film with a phone. I got like the camera with the gimbal. I'm pointing to something you can't see. The camera's there on top of the printer. But I will like get in a wide stance, and I'll start over here with the camera and gimbal, and I'll move across and then shift my body weight to go the other way. So it's probably 7.5 feet of motion. But the reason I don't move my feet for a lot of that is the gimbals. And if you get a cell phone gimbal, it's a fantastic tool, but watch 30 minutes of YouTube University to learn how to use it, right? The gimbal's amazing because it does stabilize the camera in 3 axes, right? Pitch, roll, and yaw. However, there's a Z axis that the gimbal does not stabilize, and that is this, the up and down, right? So we do, in my industry, we do what's called a ninja walk to minimize that up and down movement as much as possible. And this is why I'm a pretty good ninja walker, but I try to minimize as much as possible any walking, because this motion is almost as bad as the pivot, because it's like you can see someone just like you're walking through a house and you feel like you're in the pouch of a kangaroo. So this is why like I don't walk. I will literally stretch out as far as I can and do big smooth motions and try to not take a step, because when you take a step, you got to use your knees and your elbows to try and minimize all that Z axis up and down motion, and it's not easy. So, but you can get really good footage without moving your feet. Like I do the same thing for like going around corners. I'll lean back with the gimbal and camera here, and my move will be, like I'll spread my legs a little bit, and my move will be from here to there, and I never move my legs.
Right. I put a link in the chat to my Realtor Essentials list on Amazon, and the mic and the gimbal are in there. So in case you want to buy one. So cool. Awesome. Christine.
Yes, question. When you do the reels where you have like the 3 videos in one going, is that from CapCut?
You could do it in CapCut. I outsource all my editing, so
Yes, you can do it in CapCut.
my editors will do the 3, and they'll also do 2. They'll split it up. Yeah, it is possible.
I like that.
I do too. I didn't hear someone say that it's just a little too busy for me, and it's just like it's supposed to be busy.
Yeah.
If it was,
it's true.
If it was standing still, like you wouldn't want to watch it. It'd be boring. So it's supposed to be a little teaser to go watch the full video, right?
Well, the whole reason that came about is because we see the world like this, and we film like this for YouTube. Like Wendy's got some YouTube videos that we produced for her that have like almost 1 million views. But the problem is this doesn't work well in this format, right? So we had to figure out a way to maximize the real estate. That's a realtor pun. We had to figure out a way to maximize the real estate on the iPhone screen, and that is by putting 3, sometimes 2 videos on this device. Because if the video is only here, you have black bars top and bottom, you're not leveraging all the space. You're not leveraging all the potential attention of your viewer. And if there's something on the bottom, oh, that's interesting, they might scroll off. So that's why and how that came about.
All right. Isabel, what you got?
Yes, hi, good morning.
Hi.
Yes, I just have a quick question. I wanted to find out if there's anywhere where I can see like a sample of the video quality for the Osme Pocket 3.
YouTube. I watch comparison videos before I purchase one. And for me, the bigger sensor makes it, because noise is a detractor. Noise is something we're always fighting with these small sensors. So yeah, YouTube has all the. I mean, it literally had all the information I needed to justify the purchase.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I'll see if I can pull up the recent video iPhone comparison I just did. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay, so there are questions in the chat. You guys just raise your hand and we'll get to you if you can, your virtual hand. That way we can get through everybody's questions. But Adrian, you are up next, and then John.
My question is, when I'm doing, for example, you look at the Zoom screen that we have here. When I edit it, it converts it into a tiny, tiny little video. Do you have any suggestions as to how to edit like the larger screen format for it to stay the same? So I can post it on YouTube.
Okay, so sorry. I know this is probably a question, but I went through this when I started doing Tech Tuesday Reels of Zoom, right? So there's a setting behind the scenes that you need to select. Number one, HD. Number two, screen or speaker view. You're going to want to select speaker view.
Okay.
That way, you're going to get several different recordings when your Zoom is over. One is going to be you so that you're not so pixelated when you try to make it a video. Like I couldn't use any of my old Tech Tuesdays because I didn't have that selected and we didn't have those recordings. So, so go into your settings in Zoom and I think it's video options or not video options, recording options. And then you're going to select those things there. That way you have several different things to choose from and your videos will be better through Zoom.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. John, good morning.
Yeah, when do you do reels and when do you do stories? I know stories disappear in like 24 hours or something like that, but do you do the same thing that you did a reel? Do you do it for a story or should it be different?
So we have a higher end video package that Wendy gets for her luxury stuff, and what's included in that is a branded video, an unbranded video, a 90 seconds or less reel, and a 20 seconds or less story. The timing on those is key, but also the use. They're really just two different strategies, right? So like reels will get shown to people who do not follow you. Stories will not. Stories will pop up in that upper portion above the feed where reels do not. So honestly, you should be doing both. I have a client who posts usually around once a day, but she's one reel a day. And she's probably an 80-20, 80% reels, 20% photos. And when she does post photos, it's usually carousel. But she's posting 8 to 12 stories a day. So she's always popping up in the top feed. So really it's you have to do both for two different reasons. So you're staying top of mind for the people who do follow you, and you have an opportunity to create a new conversation with the people who don't. Stories and reels respectively. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but is it the same thing? It's just one is 20 and one is 40, or
More or
is it
less
completely separate?
More or less, but again, it's one audience is for people who already follow you, so it's a reminder. One audience is for people who follow you plus, so it's an opportunity.
Yeah,
So
you're
it's
definitely
really
getting in front of different people on your stories.
reels.
So, I mean, on your reels, sorry.
So
I do both.
You have to think about the strategy of it, like because they are getting served to not the identical markets, so but as far as what they are, yeah, it's vertical short form video. One is 20 seconds and one is up to 90 seconds. Now on Instagram, you can also post longer than 90-second videos, but it just goes into your feed. It's not a reel. It's just a vertical video.
Yeah, I like the stories just because I don't have to create ad copy and like say something about it. So if I'm out and about and I'm at a cool restaurant, I'm going to do a little reel about it. Yep, I take pictures of my food, but some people like food anyway, and I always tag the company, the small business that I'm at because people appreciate that. Right. And so you do something like that real quick. You don't have to talk about it. You just make a little video, put it together and send it out there.
But that's a really good strategy too. Like by tagging the small business, let's say it's a small Mexican joint down the street, it's a small Greek place across the road. By tagging them, because they're a small business and they're trying to grow, they can see, oh, Wendy has 7,000 followers. That's really cool. She tagged us. So they might share it to their following. They might have
they do
they might have 15,000 followers, and now Wendy might just her feed might or her brand might pop up in somebody who just saw Wendy's like promotional material somewhere and they've been in the first stages of thinking about a real estate transaction, and now all of a sudden here's universal confirmation that Wendy's a legit brand. Here's an outside company sharing her brand. It's just a little reminder. I mean, 100 ways to skin a cat, but that's just one scenario. But yeah, tagging, collaborating is even better, because then that post gets shared to both feeds. I wish our clients tagged us or collaborated with us more. I should probably ask that out loud. But we have
I video you guys.
we have a lot of followers in Las Vegas who are realtors. So if it's a brand new listing, like, this is a great way, because everyone's on social media. It's a great way to promote that new listing.
Right.
People
I
see
did
it.
I did a little reel on me and Cindy's while we were there, because you're sitting there waiting for them to do their job. You may as well get video too, right? So you get a little bit of video, and I have Richard, he was out there, videoing the hot tub bubbles and stuff like that, so like when you get, it's like video day, here we go, so, and then tag them, of course.
And that's actually a big value add for a realtor's brand, right? Like, people love behind the scenes footage, everybody. So if your videographer is out there doing like pushes and slides over a hot tub and you're filming them doing that, it shows a couple of things, that you care enough to hire a professional to create your videos. It's a behind the scenes, which people love, but it's also like giving people that inside look at production day. It amplifies, the fact that you have a team, you have your systems in place, things like that. I think it's huge. And what's it take? 20 seconds?
Right. Same if you're renovating, go, and when they're putting in the flooring and when they're putting in new counters, and just take a little quick video and just be like, yep, this renovation is coming along, and then tag them, because it's going to help them get more business. And, that all helps. Nicole, do you want to come off mute and ask your question?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah.
Morning.
So my question is, has anybody ever had any success with batch releasing videos? Because I know that with the ensuite editing tools and some of the programs, you can schedule your reels to be released at certain times. I've noticed that if you batch release, at least in the past, one reel may get a bunch of views and the rest of them don't seem to get as many views. So I don't know if this has changed or if anybody's had any success with this.
Are you using the term batch release in tandem with scheduling? Like, is that what you mean?
No, I mean,
Like, just put a whole bunch out at once?
Yeah, if you batch record and then like release them all at once, I've noticed that views on most of the videos aren't as high as normal if you release a bunch at once.
That's because it's like you're spamming. You just definitely want to trickle 1 to 2 a day, keep it consistent. If you batch release, it's kind of like getting drowned out by the noise.
Yeah,
Right.
I've noticed
like
recently.
YouTube, same thing. When people subscribe to your channel, they get a notification every time you post a video. So if you sit there and I'm going to post all 10 of my solar tip videos, they're going to unsubscribe from you because they got so many freaking notifications. You just want to space it out.
So I noticed with stories recently too, somebody had said, wait till your story expires to post one that's important. So wait 24 hours till your story runs out and then repost, and the numbers didn't lie on that.
Yeah, and that is true, but also not. It's not. And what I mean by that is it might not do that every single time.
Is Celeste still here? Celeste? You said, can it record both at the same time? I don't know where that was in the training. Maybe you were talking about the camera and the.
Yeah, he said it could do both vertical and horizontal. Does it record them both at the same time, or okay, just one?
One or the other. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Linda Session, don't understand your don't. Who records a blur picture? Is that what you are saying? Linda?
You're talking about the pan?
I don't know. Linda. Where are you?
You there?
She may have already. Oh, wait, she's here. Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Asking you to unmute. I don't know what she was talking about. I'm sorry. I think the blur picture is maybe the one that you were showing of me, the difference of the lighting. I don't know. I don't know.
I was thinking
I
maybe the
think she
one
was talking about the motorcycle one
the
on the beach.
motorcycle. Yeah, that's what I think too, because that's that photo was taken by somebody panning.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm back.
Hi,
Yeah,
Linda.
that's what I was, the motorcycle one.
Yeah, that's just I didn't want to take a whole bunch of bandwidth and throw a video up there, so it's just a photo representing that panning motion that you should not be doing.
Okay. Jackie Dirth, what are some things to consider when hiring on Fiverr?
Good question. I think proficiency in English is good. Past work, like if you're going to hire a wedding photographer, you look at all the other weddings that they've done, look at the reviews. Reviews are social proof that the service they provided all those other people will be the service you will receive yourself, which is, a little plug for you to go get reviews from your clients. Yeah, it's I'm one of these people who's not afraid to throw money at my company. So when I go do something, like when I found my editors, I said, here's a project. It's a public database. Like here's a publicly accessible Dropbox link that has a project in it. And I'll hire, because I don't believe anyone should work for free. So I'll hire like 5 people and I'll look at, I'll pay for 5 edits, different price points, and I'll gauge the quality of the final product, whether or not revisions needed to get done, so whether or not there's like spelling errors, if graphics or lower thirds were added, and the turnaround time. Like, did they get this to me? Did they get this 45-second video to me in 12 hours, or did it take them 36? Like that's huge. I would definitely want someone who's getting it to me quicker, that has a high quality, even if it is a little bit more expensive, $5 or $10 more expensive than somebody else.
Yeah.
But really, for me, my process has been trial and error. Throw spaghetti on the wall, see which pieces stick, and that's throwing money at editors and see which one performs best, and then move forward in that direction. Shotgun approach to sniper approach.
Shotgun to sniper. Oh, I love it. John, you have a question?
Yeah, any recommendations on videographers in the Denver, Colorado area?
Not off the top of my head, but I got a big resource. I can, like, what kind of content are you looking?
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot. Like, I work with a lot of agents all over the country, and
Yeah, there's
nobody has an Aeon.
So honestly, like, I would assume that there are, I'm almost positive there are realtors who are producing content that you really like and respect in the Denver area. Reach out to them, ask who they use.
Yeah, that's what I told our girl from Klamath Falls, Oregon. I said, well, who's doing amazing video? Whoever's doing amazing video that you love, like, contact them and see who they're using. She goes, I'm the only one doing amazing video, and you're not even amazing.
Klamath Falls is not a big market.
I know, so she's doing what she could do there, but God, she has great horse property and everything.
Here's something else I would recommend for those of you who are looking for a videographer to work with. Find someone who's more than a camera person, right? Like, find someone who pays attention to the industry. Like when I know that realtors can't say certain things, right? You can't say master bedroom. So when I'm with clients and they say, that has, the guest rooms on one side of the house and masters on the other, so I stop and I stop recording. Like, we got to redo it, because I know that you guys can't say those things. So find someone who's willing to work with you and direct you, not someone who just is going to show up with a camera and say, well, you need to be prepared. Find someone who's willing to go over scripting and dialogue and what you're going to say on the camera, because it's, you're building a relationship. I think the more successful media providers are out there, they approach it like I do, whereas we're a team. We can't do what we do without you. and we don't do it for you, we do it with you. Like this kind of approach, I think is really important. Find someone you get on with. Like Wendy and I are pretty chummy. I know that she's the boss still, the real estate boss still, but it's, you know, like it is more of a collaborative effort than just a production. And that is
100%. Like I have an idea, but he takes my idea to the next level to where it makes sense, because most of my ideas don't make sense. So I mean, I love it because
and I've seen
I'm good at selling houses. I am not a freaking movie star at all. He's trying to make me one, but I'm not.
And there are capable video people out there who only are capable video people. They're not creative people. You know, they don't have a directorial presence about them. And I've seen conversations where they're like, you know, someone will ask a question about, hey, how do I help guide my client through the process of making this video? And then people will chime in and say, well, they need to be ready. I'll just show up with the camera. So honestly, don't work with that person who's just going to show up and be a camera person. You need someone who's going to be more collaborative and willing to engage and elevate your messaging.
Right.
They have to be,
Even
they
the
should be both.
Yeah, even the photographer, like it made me crazy. I used to use Virtuins, not that we're throwing names out there, but you know, some of their photographers were good. Some of them, like, they won't move things if it looks bad. You know, like I try to go through, I'm there a couple hours before everybody, you know, trying to make sure every room is perfect for, you know, them when they come in. But you know, sometimes I miss things and then it makes me crazy that they're the ones looking at it through their camera. Like they know if it looks bad, freaking move it if it looks bad, you know? Anyway, so it definitely helps to have people like with the vision that you want. So awesome. We got to wrap this up. Thank you for hopping on. That was amazing. There's a whole bunch of links in the chat. One is the Realtor Essential links. If you need a mic or a gimbal or anything else like that I buy for my stuff, I put it in there to help you. And then Tech Tuesday VIP, which we are going to be hopping into in 3 minutes, where we actually work on the things together. So feel free to book that. And we are launching a new luxury workshop / mastermind. So if you guys were trying to hit that higher price point and maybe bought my luxury page or didn't buy my luxury page, that's totally fine. We're going to actually work on those things together every Friday. So Joanne probably put that in the chat as well. So you can check that out. And I think that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, wait. We have one more question and we have time for one more question. Sorry. Sumi, my issue is stopping at exactly 20 seconds. Like, is that necessary? Do you recommend me using scripts? And what's the average cost for editing a short video?
Short videos, probably $15 to $35. The 20 seconds is a hard stop for stories. 90 is for reels. And what was the third one?
Do you recommend using scripts?
No, don't use scripts. Use bullet points. Scripts are like, you're not an actress. You're going to really try and memorize a whole script. It's much easier for you to go, I need to talk about the square footage, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms in the backyard. Bullet points, talk to those things. And that way, if you go off script, you don't sound like you're off script, because if you have a script and then you miss it, then your mind starts to go, oh, I just messed that up. And then you're missing the next bullet points. Write down 3 to 5, keep them odd, 3 things. When we do short form video, it's 3 threes, 3 things in the front, 3 things in the house, 3 things in the back. It's usually like an introduction or a hook, and then 3 things about the house inside. And then in the backyard, it's call to action, gratitude, reminder who you are.
Thank
Right.
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you try to do
Bullet
more
points.
than 3, if you try to do more than 3, it's inevitable you're going to get so many bloopers because you just can't remember it and it sounds funny. So he's always said, keep it to 3. So I always try to think the 3 most important things someone's looking for, and say them. So awesome. All right. Have a good week, guys. See you next week.
Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. Thank you.
Bye.